the next thing I'm going to show you is something I think is cooler than sliced bread. And that is that we're going to make sesame honey balls with blueberry surprise inside. This thing I think is incredible. Anyway, we start with sesame seeds and a coffee grinder. Or if you don't have a coffee grinder, you can use a blender and clean out some of the coffee. Or you can use a paper towel and a hammer. You put the seeds inside the paper towel or a bag and then you just mash them. But I'm going to use the coffee grinder. These are just sesame seeds. I'll fill it up. Tastes a little like coffee, it's okay. Alright, here we go. Now you just want to grind them into dust. You don't want to really get them all mushy. You see that? There you go, that's ground out nice. Put them in a bowl. You can feel them getting a little pasty. I'd never done this before. I didn't realize how guava and all those things are made. But sesame seeds have a natural moisture. Kind of makes them clump together once you grind them up. Alright. I have company to come tomorrow, so this should really impress them. In fact, I'm just going to do a little more. A friend who's coming tomorrow used to run a record label. These guys eat terribly, and they have big sweet tooths, so this is going to be very entertaining. And that's a good idea for as you're trying to change your diet or do better things. You know, if you have friends coming or you're going to a party or somewhere and you think they're just going to kind of be serving garbage food, bring something good along. Simple, cheap, sesame seeds, that's pretty cheap. Alrighty. We'll clean that out for tomorrow's coffee later. So I have a nice pile here. You want to take the rest of the sesame seeds and you want to lightly toast them on the stove. I'm putting them into just a dry pan, no oil, nothing. That's it for the sesame seeds. Now this you have to pay attention to because you can go from lightly toasting seeds to burning them very quickly. Now I know you probably can't see this, there's only so much I can do with just myself and the camera, but I'll show them to you. So you're all spread out here and I'm just going to move them around a lot. And they kind of get a nice little nutty, extra nutty smell to them as they're toasting. But again, don't take your eyes off of this. This goes from delicious to burned in just seconds. Okay, now they're starting to change color. Oh, and it's popping too. Take a look. You can see maybe that they're getting a little tan. Phone rings now, you just let it go. You know, take your eyes off of this. Keep it stirring around. Browning right up. Now the thing with electric stoves or pans like this, you want to shut off the flame a little early because this pan is going to retain the heat and they're going to, even though now I've shut off the fire, they're still browning up a bit. But this is perfect. So give them a good stir. And I'll just let it sit there and cool down for a little while. Pick up my towel that fell on the floor. All right. Okay, this is the gooey part. Oh, let me do the blueberries. I'm just going to wash off a handful of blueberries here. Get all my ingredients prepared. I need one while you're at it. Okay, so now this is Mr. Honey Bear. You could do this with honey. You could do this with agave syrup, which is good for people who are diabetic. And I'm just putting 2 teaspoons of honey in here, and we're going to see how this works. So basically, you put it in there and you start stirring it up. And you want stuff to get into like a little paste. You see it's clumping. In there again, another very hands-on. Take all your rings off, your jewelry, clean your hands, that sort of thing. I need a little more honey here. So that's 3 teaspoons, but I figure I'm using about 1.5 cups of sesame seeds here. And I'm just going to add it gradually because I don't want to put in too much, but I want everything to really clump together nice. Okay, a little more, and then it's time to get hands-on. Okay, so this is about 4 teaspoons of honey to about 1.5 cups of sesame seeds. For those of you that need to be scientific. But you can see how it's starting to clump, kind of like dough. But again, there's no flour here. This is just sesame seeds. Okay, at this point, you got to get in there with the hands. And you want to really clump it up. This is the way you really can mix it up quite efficiently. Kind of bring all the loose ends into it, smush it around some more. All right. Try to scrape off your fingers. Scrape off the spoon. And then, if you're like me, you gotta wash your hands. All right. Next. So that's it for the honey. As I said, we use 4 teaspoons to about 1.5 cups of sesame seeds. Then you get a bowl, and you transfer the toasted sesame seeds into the bowl. I think I'll use two pans to do this. As I said, these pans are heavy. Okay, that's it. No fuss on the pan. You didn't use any oil. I don't even have to clean that pan. Alrighty. This is the cool part. And I'll need a container to put these things in. Now the finished product you can refrigerate, you can freeze, anything you want to do. I happen to like them frozen. Oh yeah. Somewhere across between ice cream and sweet. As you can tell, I have to work in a limited space, so if you have a bigger space, it's just going to be easier. Okay, so you grab a small bit, like this. Maybe stick a hole in it. Stick a blueberry. This is my innovation on the thing. Kind of cover it up, so now we have a hidden blueberry in there. Make it nice and round, kind of like a meatball would have been or something like that. And you roll it in the toasted sesame seeds. They're still a little warm for me, but that's fine. And you'll see you get a nice little crunchy ball. And you put that aside and on to the next. You know, you can go crazy, but a lot of healthy cooking can be really simple, and it's just about ingredients and kind of getting it together. I mean, I know it can take a while to adjust and figure out all the things, but I mean, how simple is this? The blueberries, for God's sakes, are optional. That's just my invention. Put a raisin in there. You could put a nut in there. The first time I made them, I didn't put anything in there. So what we have here is just sesame seeds and honey. Amazing. Let me tell you, this will satisfy any sweet tooth. Funny thing, once you really get into eating with good ingredients, the things that you used to think were great, a Snickers bar or something like that, they really don't taste as good anymore. I mean, your tolerance for sugar and chemicals really changes. It takes time. I guess it took us about 2 years. To really notice the change. You notice it when, all of a sudden you're going out to eat or you're at some other party and it's like, it's not as good as I remember it. Let me give you guys a close-up. See where we're going with this. Nice little crunchy balls. And I will be putting them in the freezer overnight. Clean some of that off. Now, if you have leftover sesame seeds like I do, you can use them in a salad, you can use them in a sandwich, you can use them anywhere you want to. They're fine. You didn't ruin them or anything. They're just a little toasted. And we've all been a little toasted. Okay, that's it. Sesame balls.